The beauty of the Washwire is one-stop shopping. Every item is short and right to the point. You can quickly get a lot of information into these tiny news items and then get a laugh at the end.
Ron Schaefer leads off his piece today, or his column today, in the Wall Street Journal. "'Tis the day after Christmas, and all in the house are gearing up for 1998.
I was the writer of the Washington Wire from 1985 to 2001. The Washington Wire is a weekly report loaded with inside information about Washington, about what's going on in Washington, what's going to happen in Washington.
I'm Gabe Rubin, and I'm the new Washington Wire author at the Wall Street Journal. What stuck out to me from reading years of past Washington Wires was the deep sourcing that journal reporters have had for decades around Washington that allows them to get every major perspective on an issue and really know where the ball is going before it gets there.
We try to cover as many different subjects as possible, and that can mean foreign policy, economic policy, energy and environmental policy, civil rights issues.
I know that we get a lot of response from items that are in the column, some favorable, some very angry.
Sometimes the reactions from political figures can be quite interesting when they read the Washington Wire. My favorite story actually involves my colleague Rich Jaroslavsky. During the presidency of George H.W. Bush, he did a piece about Bush looking for a new Treasury Secretary. And he put in the column that Housing Secretary Jack Kemp would love the job, but he knew that Bush would never pick him. So the next morning, Rich gets this irate call from Kemp, calling from his limousine on the way to work, saying, "Why did you put that in the paper?" And Rich said, "Well, is it true?" And he said, "Well, of course it's true. Everybody knows that Bush and I don't get along, so why would you put it in the paper?" When I wrote the Washington Wire, my trademark was the bottom three lines in the column called the minor memos. But we found that after you get through all this serious news in Washington, people were looking for a laugh. So a lot of my minor memos were put in a book called Minor Memos. And one of my favorite sources was Bob Dole, the Republican senator and presidential candidate. He's very funny and has a very sarcastic wit. One is called It Takes One. Senator Dole jokes that this week's decision on the airbag was easy for his wife, Transportation Secretary Elizabeth Dole. She's married to one.
One longtime reader emailed me after I had told him that we were bringing back Washington Wire with 7 examples of minor memos that he had loved over a 2-decade span. And I think that really just shows how much of an impact this column had on people, that they remember specific minor memos from 1987.
Well, the most memorable reaction I ever got, it was Ann Landers, the famous advice columnist. One day, I guess I had mentioned her in a column, and I get this letter from Ann Landers and said how excited she was to be in the Washington Wire. And I thought, this woman has more readers than any column in the world, and she's excited about being in my column. So it just kind of blew me away. I'm really excited about seeing the Washington Wire come back. I think that Gabe will give it a fresh, exciting look. I think the most important thing about a new Washington Wire for a new Washington Wire writer is to always have something new so the reader always can say, you know, I saw this in the Washington Wire and I didn't see it anywhere else.